Hey everybody, are you ready? Because, it is time to be authentic, to be totally who you are, time to say what's on your mind. It is time for Thinking Out Loud. And with me today is Catherine Wilfong, my co-host. Hi, Catherine.
Hey, Rosanna, how's it going?
It's going really good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. And also with me, I'm so thrilled that Lorane agreed to come on our show. Lorane Gordon is the best-selling author of Visualization, or The Power of Visualization. Sorry about that, Lorane. And Conversations That Make a Difference. And I think it was that book that I first read that we got connected to with on Twitter. So how are you today?
I'm wonderful, and thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we are thrilled to have you. And we kind of thought we would kick off this, and I'm diddling here because I'm having to go over where I need to go, with a couple of comments that were made on last week's show, and based on these comments was a big, huge reason why I invited you here, Lorane, because I really felt like your expertise could address these comments.
Great. Well, I'll do my best.
So the first one is David Paterson, and he said, although being busy and productive in itself isn't a bad thing and is quite important to life, it isn't all about life. Time must be taken for self-reflection to judge if we are doing the right thing for us and being busy. For example, I'm a qualified accountant, but that doesn't make me happy. So I concentrate on what does, which for David Paterson is his photography. And I'm very happy with that. It means less money, but what's love got to do with it? Money, that is. So the goals are important too, and setting small, reachable goals are more achievable than the fancy goals that may never be reached, because great disappointment and causing great disappointment and unhappiness. The small steps will get you to the top much quicker and easier than giant ones. So that was a huge...
That's a lot of commenting, right?
Yes, it is.
But I would love to address the points sort of one by one, if that's okay.
I think that's fabulous.
So David's talking about being very busy, yet having time for self-reflection. I think that being busy is nice, but what we do want to have is a quiet, peaceful mind. When you have a quiet, peaceful mind, you can be busy and still be in a place where you understand what's going on within you. So in other words, the world that we live in causes us to get up in the morning and go out and we work, or we whatever it is that we do. Most of us lead lives that are rather busy. But if we can stay in a position where we're self-aware, we don't have to have that continuous mind chatter. And when you're calm and peaceful, yet doing what you're supposed to be doing, and hopefully what your soul wants you to do, David, which sounds like your photography business, then self-reflection is just a natural thing because you're in awareness of what's going on with you. You know when you're on the right path versus when you're not.
So if someone is not used to being self-aware, how would you suggest they start?
Well, that's a big, big subject. But I talk about something called the observer. And when you're in observer mode, or many of you may think of it as witness. When you're in witness mode, that is self-awareness or consciousness, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with the term conscious. Consciousness means we're aware of how we're looking out at the world, whether or not we're judging what is, and we're also seeing back to ourselves. So imagine a camera on your shoulder, and it's looking out, viewing the world, and there's a feedback. It's telling you how you are viewing the world, and it's also checking in and telling you what's going on with your emotional body. And at the same time, it's reflecting you back to you. This is something that takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight, and this is what yogis and gurus struggle with, or sit in the Himalayas for 20 years for. It doesn't have to take that long. there are a few practices that I recommend that done regularly will help bring you into that observer mode.
So regularly, do you mean on a daily basis? Because, like, I meditate every
Yes.
morning.
So that you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, but I can't say that my mind is always quiet. I mean, or I'm always 100% mindful of exactly where I am.
Well, yeah, I don't know of too many people that could. I really don't. Even my mentor, Deepak Chopra, would tell you he's not always, you know, in that quiet place. It is a practice, and I think meditation is one way to develop that self-awareness. Another way is to get out into nature and to simply breathe and to be aware of that busy mind. Something I teach is a 4-4 breath that can be done all day long, and I really do suggest that when you begin bringing yourself into this, you do practice this 4-4 breath a minimum of 4 times a day to give yourself that silence. Do you want me to go over it with you?
Oh, I would love that.
Okay. So if everybody would take their hands and put them over their diaphragm, just put your hand, you know, sort of like a little above your waist. And it's going to be, we're going to do a belly breath, and I'll describe it, and then I'll lead you through it. But first, just take a deep breath, and as you do, allow your belly to expand. So breathing in through your nose, and your belly balloons out. And then as you exhale through your mouth or your nose, your belly contracts. Okay? There isn't a bunch of pumping with the shoulders. It's not about your chest. You're bringing the oxygen down deep into the bottom of your lungs, which is where you need it. And then as you exhale and you contract, you're emptying all that stale air out. And what we'll do is I'll lead you through, I'll count it out. We'll breathe in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, breathe out for the count of 4, and then hold with no breath for the count of 4. And so if you're ready, we'll just start right now.
Okay.
Okay? And if you would all close your eyes, that would be the right thing to do, and I'll close my eyes too. So, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Very good. When you feel like it, just open your eyes. And to complete that as a 4-4 breath, you would actually do that 4 times. And my suggestion is you do that at least to start 4 times a day. And you'll notice that kind of brings you into that calmer, more peaceful place. Did you feel that?
I definitely felt that. How about you, Catherine?
Absolutely.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Then I did what I came here to do.
The other part of what the other part that I found really interesting about what David was saying was he and I'm guilty of this one. I'm terribly guilty of this one. He automatically thinks that if he is going to live his life as a creative, then he's going to make less money.
He's going to make less money if he does what as a creative, right?
Right. If he does what he loves to do, then, you know, he said, which means less money. And I'm guilty of falling into that same mind trap. It's like my mind knows that that really isn't the truth, but in my heart, I've been told, you know, I've been told that so much or so often. You know, you'll never make money as an artist. That, you know, it's almost you don't really try as hard, maybe.
Well, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you know, it's called. Sometimes we have to learn how to bust through self-limiting beliefs, and there are various processes we can use to do that. And again, that's all of these things take conscious intention, you know, to get through that. And the beautiful thing about David is he wrote it right there. He made it very clear, so his belief is popped right out there in the screen for him to see. I believe I cannot make good money doing what I love, or at least not as much money. And so I would suggest to him that he look back in his life and see where he may have picked that belief up initially, who in his family believed that, and were they necessarily right about a lot of the other things that they taught him? And when he looks at it from that standpoint, it begins to put that little wedge of doubt in there that maybe that is not the truth. And then, of course, there's you know, I've been doing this and teaching this all of my life and professionally for the past 30 years, so it's kind of hard to explain in a 30-minute hangout, but it can be done. Beliefs can be busted, and you can remove your own glass ceiling, but it takes consciousness.
And Tammy Cook said of your 444 exercise, wow, that works.
Thanks, Tammy. I got lots of tricks up my sleeve.
Tammy's great, yeah. So.
And we also have Katrina Fancook out in the audience. Hi, Katrina. I'm glad that you're with us.
Yeah. Yeah. She said that she's excited to be here. And hi to everyone. So.
Hi, Katrina.
So, to get back on the limiting beliefs, one of the things when I was doing some workshops, one of the things I would ask people to do is to write down, you know, to say, I am a brilliant and prolific artist. And then immediately your mind, or my mind, and everybody else's in the classes that I was doing, would come up with the reasons why they weren't. No, I'm not doing enough artwork, or I'm not good enough, or whatever. And actually writing them down. And for some reason, it seems like that process of writing down the false beliefs makes it so much easier to bust them.
Oh, all right. Well, that makes sense. And I also believe that when we set an affirmation for ourselves, whether we're using an I am, which is a powerful way to do it, it certainly puts everything into the present tense. In the way I teach it, it's important to move just slightly beyond your comfort zone. And the reason I say that is because if you're saying, I am a multimillionaire right now, and you know you can't pay your bills, everything is going to scream at you, you are a liar, you're crazy, and it's just going to be a miserable situation. But if you can say something like, I am attracting more and more abundance into my life, that becomes a little more believable. So I think if we take it in stages, we can reach wherever we really want to. But I believe we don't want to set ourselves up for that negativity or that fight within initially. So just reach slightly beyond your comfort zone to begin with. And then you're going to find you begin to bust through things, and then you can reach further and further.
That's a good idea, instead of just like throwing it all out there at one time. But I think that goes along with the whole setting goals and doing it in baby steps rather than...
Yes, yes. Because as a coach, what I teach is that, for example, my coach, I always have a coach in various areas of my life wherever I'm trying to improve. It works, being accountable to someone and having someone understand your goals and just help nudge you back into that place. So I believe in it and I use them. But one of my coaches said something to me that I'll never forget. And he said that an airplane is off course something like 90% of the time. Have you ever heard this?
No.
And these little nudges brings it back, and a little nudge brings it back, and a little nudge, and the airplane gets to its destination. But the controls show that it's really off course 90% of the time. And he described it the same with us. If we have an intention or a goal of where we want to go, and we don't beat ourselves up, because you're not going to run the 50-yard dash in whatever the timing is overnight. But if that's your intention, and you support yourself, and you keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on the goal, you nudge yourself gently towards it so that you get yourself back into that place of reaching that goal. But it's not done drastically, because when we do that, we set ourselves up for failure, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I like the term don't beat yourself up. My mentor, who you probably know of, she's not with us any longer, Debbie Ford. I love her
Oh,
too. Yeah, of course. That was one of her big sayings. Don't beat yourself up. And so I hear that a lot with people. It's like, well, this isn't quite working, or I'm not doing this right. And it's like, no, just baby steps. Don't beat yourself up. And I love that you say that. Absolutely love that you say that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so true. I think if we give ourselves, it's just like starting a diet or anything else. You have to be encouraging to yourself. That's another thing I talk a lot about is that inner critic. And when you're aware, when you've developed this observer or witness consciousness, you become aware of that mean and nasty voice that we all have that's saying, hey, you blew it. You had a piece of bread, or you had a piece of cake, or you're not going to make money as a photographer, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you become aware of it, that's how you render that voice powerless. Once again, we come back to consciousness.
Absolutely. Love it.
I so totally agree with that. The other point that David Paterson made in a different comment was how important it is to be aware of the things that you need to take out of your life, like the negative comments or even negative people. Do you agree with that, Lorraine?
Absolutely. It's like every metaphysical belief, every spiritual belief says, clean up your workspace, clean out your home, clean out your closets. We have to clear out the rubble or the trash in order to allow that vacuum to be there, to bring in all of those beautiful, wonderful things that we want. If our space is filled with crap, the good stuff can't come in. So I have to come back to self-awareness. When you're in that place, and certainly you're not going to feel it 24/7. I've been practicing since I was 13 years old. I am not 24/7 peaceful. I could never pretend to be. But I do believe that in my journey, I am there more often than I'm not. And when you're aware, you get a feeling when something doesn't belong. You feel it in your body. You get a knowingness. And we've been taught in Western society to override those feelings and to use our intellect. We've got to go back to our gut level feeling. When something isn't right or isn't good, we know it. And that's what we need to get rid of.
Yeah, intuition.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm wondering, do we have any questions from anyone? So here's the time to ask Lorraine, guys. So
I'd love to answer your questions. My pleasure.
So, and,
We haven't got any yet.
sometimes I really like the breathing exercise. That was awesome.
I
can lead you through another exercise if you want. That's really a goodie, I think.
Okay. We're
Okay.
game. We're game for this.
Is something else that can bring you clearly and comfortably into the present moment.
Okay.
And calm, peaceful mind. So if everyone would just look at your hand, and so I'm going to look at my hand. Just put your hand out in front of you and look at it. Okay, and notice the texture of your skin and your fingers, and just notice your hand, and just breathe for a moment and pay attention to your hand. And now turn it over and look at the palm of your hand. Just noticing whatever it is you see as you look at your hand. And now I want you to separate your fingers very wide. And I want you to notice the spaces between your fingers. And take a breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Just look at the space between your fingers. And now turn your hand over. And notice, hold your hand up, and notice how your hand appears out there in space, giving more attention to the space around your hand than your hand itself. Breathing in and breathing out. And now bring your attention back to your actual hand itself. Okay. So, ladies, can you tell me the difference that you felt when you were looking at your hand versus the space?
You want to go, Arizona?
Yeah, I was hoping you would go.
There is no right or wrong.
No. Well, for me, I'm fairly conscious about my space and my body because that's what I practice every day. And so for me, I see auras and read auras. So that was an awesome practice. So I was just kind of looking at my aura in my hand and just kind of reading that. So for me, that answer is a little bit different. So I wanted to see what Arizona noticed. But
Okay.
for me, when I look at my hand and my breath, it's about bringing awareness and just we tend to, as a spirit, we can kind of get out of our body. And what this does is it brings us back into our body. Anytime we go into even our feet, or we just bring attention into any piece of our body, it just kind of brings our whole spirit back in to ourselves. And that's what, holding onto the diaphragm, breathing consciously does. And so that's what I was noticing, is just looking at my hand and just putting attention to any piece of your body brings you into just total consciousness of just what's in the present moment.
I wonder if that's why when I looked at my hand, and after spending a couple of breaths looking at the spaces in between, when I looked at my palm again, it was just like that much brighter, that much clearer, that much more focused.
So both of you had more of a peaceful mind, a little more of a quiet mind when you practiced that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's an awesome thing to do. Is to
and
just
how easy?
focus.
How easy? These practices are available 24/7, and you can do them in public, and they cost nothing. So I mean, there's it's really simple ways to bring yourself into calm, peaceful mind and self-awareness.
Those are awesome. I love the breath. I love just being able to just look at your body and your hand and just spend just a moment just being aware of yourself and just the space and just focusing your consciousness on it.
I'm glad you felt that way. And
Awesome.
you can do that really around the room. You can, if I had more time, I would lead you through a lot more exercises because there's so many things.
Oh, those are wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, they are. So Katrina Fancook says the more you can clear space, the better. You can do everything you need to do in stages and steps. If you can take the time to connect with your inner awareness, it does guide you to make the right choices of what to choose or clear. I totally agree with Lorane Gordon.
Yeah. Thanks, Katrina. Yeah, it sounds like you're practiced and studied. And life is, we fill our lives up with extraneous stuff, and it's so much more comfortable when we clear out the rubble.
I agree. And this one's a good one, and will give me a chance to give you the opportunity to, tell us about your website and everything. Where do I sign up? Because I need help.
Yeah. I have lots of help. Tammy, if you go to my website, and I think it's down here on the bottom, isn't it? LoraneGordon.com. The spelling is there.
Yes.
And you can subscribe and get some free gifts, and just get on my email list. You'll start to get lots of encouraging things. However, if you're interested in I've started a pilot sort of program for a Happiness First, Riches Will Follow program. If you're interested, I've actually closed registration. It's free. We closed registration yesterday, but if you really need help and you want to get on, shoot me out an email and I'll get you on it. Just that would be Lorane, Lorane, @ LoraneGordon.com. Make sure you spell all that right. And tell me where you saw me, and I'll get you on that pilot, and we'll send you out the videos right away.
Yeah. Rain just wanted to say that was a great exercise. She's a wonderful person.
Thank you. Is it Raina or Rain?
Rain. Yeah.
Thank
she's
you,
the
Rain.
co-host. I'm sorry. She's the co-host with Arizona. So yeah. So she's pretty well known around G+, and so.
Yeah, and in the Google Hangout community, yeah.
I'm going to have to join this community. This is great stuff. You know, I do radio. I have a regular radio show, which allows me to sort of hide without makeup. This does force you to get, you know.
Well, you look beautiful.
Well, it took a little time, trust me.
Oh, you look awesome. You're gorgeous. You just radiate. I see your aura and you just radiate. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, I meditate, as you girls do, but I also bring in the light.
I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you have a glow, and it just glows out. You just have a beautiful glow.
So do you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
This is a very happy place to be. Very happy.
What are you working on manifesting for this year? The biggest goal that you're working on manifesting?
Personally, or, you know, like with my business, which is actually, yeah, my business is very personal. I am launching my first product to get my teachings out to the masses. Up until now, I used to speak internationally, and at this stage of my life, I love the fact that I can do everything right here, you know. And so I have private coaching clients, but a lot of people, you know, can't come to a coach on a one-on-one to get what they need. So I developed my life's work, and my signature, my life's work, and I'm putting it out there right now. And it's been 2 years. I developed it like this, Catherine. It was here, but it's taken 2 years for me to do all the technology and gather the team to bring it to the public.
Right.
And that's the pilot that I'm talking about. We're calling it Early Bird. So that's my dream, is to teach, to give more people these teachings for less money so that they can get what I could give them on privately, but, you know, but not privately, because how many people do you talk to?
Exactly. Oh, that's awesome. That is wonderful.
That is really tremendous.
Cool. I'm excited. That's exciting to hear.
So I'm excited. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
It's my purpose and my path. And I think that was a question. Wasn't that a question for somebody? How do you know when you're on the right? Oh, we have another question.
Well,
No hiding on video. I see a lot of little things flashing on the screen.
Well, this one, Rain, she said, no hiding on video, Lorraine, but you have absolutely nothing to fear. The G+ world welcomes and embraces you with open arms.
What a sweet woman. Thank you, Rain.
Rain is a doll. She is
Yeah.
a total doll.
And it's the second syllable of my name. It's Rain, Lorraine.
Mm-hmm. So would you, the old wisdom that Blair referred to in his comment and that I have placed in the event stream, do you think that that's what you're practicing with this, is the old wisdom? I tend to think of it as the Eastern wisdom and the old wisdom kind of.
It's ancient. It's since time began. Yes. Yes, because truth is truth, and it hasn't changed, has it? I mean, the ancient Vedics knew this. It's been around since time began. And, you know, what always surprises me is when they refer to this as the new age material. This is as old age as anything, right?
This is old to get.
Yeah. So it is ancient, and it's ancient wisdom, and it will never change. Truth is truth, you know.
I would totally agree, and I think that, you know, the fact that the Native Americans practice this, and then in the Eastern cultures, it's been practiced all over the world at all different times. It's only us Westerners that have decided that we must think with our minds and not with our hearts and our souls.
Well, we've overridden our knowingness and our true guidance with because we've been taught that You know, if you can't see it and touch it and feel it, it isn't real. And if it doesn't make sense, don't do it. And yet, when we allow our minds to go free and just try one little thing that maybe doesn't feel right, maybe you take a left instead of a right, and just allow yourself to do that in your car, you may find a perfectly wonderful reason for having done that you would never have found had you not allowed that to take place. And again, let's start with baby steps.
And following your intuition.
I had a crazy experience doing that. I was on my way to India, and I didn't have my clothes. Do you have time for this?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
My clothes weren't ready, and I was like, I had to hem a pair of pants. I thought, how am I going to do it? And I couldn't get to an alterationist, and I'm driving around just doing errands. And I remembered, okay, I wasn't even thinking about the pair of pants. They were in the back of the car. But something inside of me said, go left. And my head said, but I have to go right. Everything I want to do is to the right, the store and this. And I said, no, just go left. So I turned left, and as I turned left, I see this sign, alterationist. And I thought, I never saw that before. So I pull in, and I grab my pair of pants, and I walk in, and I see the woman, and she answers me, and she's from India. And I said, I'm leaving for India tomorrow. Could you suppose you could? Yeah, she did it while I waited. And, lots of stuff like that happens. And it was unexpected. It wasn't planned. But beautiful things happen when you just allow yourself to be and allow your innate wisdom to take over sometimes.
Absolutely. I love that. That is a wonderful story. I love that. That is perfect. That is
I liked it too, because I didn't have to sew on the plane, because I pictured myself doing
Well, I even wondered in today's day and age if you can even take a little pair of scissors and a needle on the plane.
You couldn't. That's true. That was before 9/11, so I guess I could have, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, just trusting your intuition, and then allowing it and just going with it. So that's awesome.
Absolutely, and starting with small things, like taking a left instead of a right. I mean, it wasn't going to hurt me in any way, so I could do it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
and as my take on it is that as we try the small things and they work, or that they bring us something that we're looking for, we'll trust our intuition more and more and can grow into using it for bigger items.
Right, and then our dreams fall into our lap. Then we're led to that so-called pot of gold. And of course, I've gone through so many incarnations, and my teachings have gone through so many incarnations, as I have. And it developed into happiness first. Happiness first, riches will follow. And that is now my mantra in all of my programs, because if you're familiar with the law of attraction, and I'm sure both of you girls are, the law of attraction says we bring into our life an equal energy match to where we are, right?
Right.
So many people are trying to use that, and they're struggling, and they're miserable, and they have these goals, and they hate themselves because they haven't accomplished them, and they feel less than because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Or right. Life isn't going to be good until I make that six-figure income, or I can't live because I've got an extra 20 pounds, and so they're trying to use law of attraction in that way, or manifestation.
Right.
Truth is, if you can find happiness right now and acceptance right now, the law of attraction begins to work much more easily because you don't fight it.
But I think a lot of that too is in expressing gratitude for what you already have. Because how can you get any more until you can appreciate what you already have in your life?
Absolutely, and gratitude is the formula for happiness. That's really all it is. It's all it is. I mean, you see people with nothing, smiling, in foreign countries particularly, smiling and happy and joyous. Mm-hmm. And you can see enormous multi-billionaires miserable and depressed with 3 wives who've left them and children that are drug addicts, and it's really nothing more. Once you have your basic needs met, because I can't be a Pollyanna. I believe in food, clothing, and shelter, and all those things, and
Right.
I like nice things. But once your basic needs are met, appreciation is the key to happiness. It's that simple.
That's very true, and people don't quite, in the Western society that we live in, don't quite understand that yet. But once they go through certain lessons, they get it. But it does take a while. It does.
I'm finding so much more hope in the younger generation, though, now. It's like they're looking at all these different things with much more better open eyes. And I know that's totally worded wrong. I mean,
Maybe less
they're just.
judgmentally?
Pardon?
Maybe with less judgment or something?
I think so. I think they're less judgment, a lot more open to the truth that when you're happy, when you show gratitude, that's the beginning of your happiness. So at least the younger generation that I've been in contact with, I've seen a lot more of that, which gives me hope for the world.
Yeah, we have to keep our hope, don't we?
We do, and so I'm excited to hear about everything that you're doing and have been doing. So this is good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So your website, LoraneGordon.com, and
Right.
the program that just closed off yesterday. But if someone is in dire need of it, what is the name of the program?
It's called the Happiness First Early Bird, and if they just email me,
Okay.
Lorane, I saw you, on Google Plus, and I really would like to get in on this early bird. I'll send them the 3 videos that are, get them started, and then I'm going to be doing a teleseminar on Tuesday that they will be invited to this coming Tuesday at 6 o'clock Pacific time, and
Okay.
it's free. And I would be happy to invite your viewers. I was going to say, listen, I'm a radio girl. Your viewers to join me. It would be my pleasure.
Okay. Well,
It's
let's get.
a good program.
I'm sorry. I sometimes with the way the video comes in, I don't mean to cut you off, but let's give it a cutoff day because this goes out on YouTube. So,
yes.
What's the cutoff day?
Well, if they want to get in on the pilot program, really today is Friday. Why don't we say by Sunday midnight? If they contact me by Sunday midnight, I'll see that they get in. But if they're interested in the program, just contact me and I'll put them on the list for when we're past the pilot stage, when the actual program launches, which will be, I'm going to say mid-March. So just to have them let me know in either case.
Right.
Or, I shouldn't say you have, but whoever's listening, let me know in either case, and I'll get you on one list or the other. If I can get you on the early bird, I'll do my best.
Awesome. So that would be Sunday, February 15th, and then by that's for the early bird, and then after that by March.
After that, if they let me know, I'll get them on the list, and the program they'll probably start getting the free video teachings.
Okay.
Probably by mid-March. At least that's my target date.
All right. Great.
That is exciting. So we have one more comment. Misty Land says, I love belly breathing and often use this as the first means to get clients to connect in with their body breath.
Right. Powerful.
Yes, it is. It is very powerful.
And it's
like,
amazing how simple it is and how we don't do it.
I had never thought about doing that 4 times a day. I start my day with it and I end my day with meditation. But just doing a breathing 4 times a day, I think that's going to become part of my new schedule.
Good. It really, and for the viewers, if you give yourself times, specific times during the day that you say, like before lunch or after lunch or dinner time or when the phone rings or when I'm driving and I get to a stoplight, you know, give yourself signals, that reminders, this is my 4-4 breath time, you know, that kind of thing. Then you'll be sure and do it.
Okay. I think on that note, we are 10 minutes over, which is not a horrible thing at all.
It's fun.
It is, and it goes so fast. I mean, to me, this half an hour just flies.
Well, it was worth it.
I really enjoyed it. I really did. It was great fun. It's, you know, normally, like when I do radio, I'm just sort of like I'm talking to my dogs. This way I get to see faces. Fun, you know.
We like the HOAs. They're fun. They are.
They're a lot of fun.
Thanks. So,
Okay, so on that note, I think I'm going to remind everybody to come out to todaysvisions.com and check out the site and see what all's going on. Oops, Katrina just put another thing up. I'm going to say this. I'm going to show this one real quick. Signals and reminders, perfect. As stressed as we get sometimes, we do need a reminder to breathe.
True.
Yes, we do. So, Lorraine, thank you so much. I was thrilled, and when I invited you, I was just, part of my mind I was saying, there's no way, she's too busy, there's no way she's going to come on, and so when you agreed, I was jumping up and down for joy. So,
well, I'm thrilled that you invited me. Really, it was wonderful. Thank you.
well, thank you. And on that note, I'm going to wish everyone a happy Friday evening, and happy Valentine's Day tomorrow, guys.
Yes.
So.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Thanks, Lorraine.
Bye. Namaste, ladies.
We'll see y'all later. Bye.